next game. The lights are red. That means go. And this means a pretty good opportunity to drop here, as that is a wide open path.
Playing not the Group 2's playing paths haven't been nearly as kind as Group 1. This one's not the worst. But when you look back on the playing path that Group 1 got on their Miramar game, this one definitely has a couple of upgrades that it could make.
Yeah, who does this affect? Who does drop Los Leones? So last time I think we had 3 teams in Los Leones instead of just 2. So we'll keep an eye on how many teams decide to drop Los Leones, knowing that it's a very close, going to be possibly a populated spot for teams that can't go all the way south or southwest. Maybe Los Leones is just one of those cities. I think it's safe to loot up with 3. What do you think, Cameron? Los Leones, is it just normally 2 teams or do 3 teams?
2 is comfortable. You can fit 3, but I usually like to think of it the perfect Los Leones split is more like 2.5, because you got like 1 team on the west, 1 on the northeast, and then the south team kind of takes some of the more scattered compounds on the hills below Los Leones. Or you could also have that half squad be the northern team, as they sort of flex out on the northern side. It's not the easiest thing. It's almost like trying to fit 3 people, 3 adults in the back seat of a sedan, but you can fit them. The seat belts can reach.
That was a good one. Well, Los Leones, not as popular of a spot right now, with the circle shifting hard to the northwest. So PK finally getting home. If there's a round that PK is going to pop off, now has to be it. They do have Execute to their north, and Execute had a hell of a game. What was it, like 15 kills, 16 kills last game? So maybe don't pick on them. And they do have Cloud9 to the south. Maybe this isn't Pittsburgh Knights' game. They pick a difficult spot to drop in.
You know what? After looking at all of that,
I was wrong. I don't. I'm not too proud to admit when I'm wrong, and I'm wrong. Right now, I would say the team that benefits the most.
They just got to post up. They just got to chill. They just got to play this glacial speeds. They just got to slow it right on down, hit the brakes, and just hope that one of these teams doesn't decide that they want to take this northernmost part of the circle, and PK has to deal with them. If they can, they just have to survive.
Yeah. Survival, very important for this squad right now. Again, it'll be weird to have a final, something meaningful, and not have Pittsburgh Knights there. And that's the way it looks right now. PK on the outside looking in, and they need to start looking deep inward towards themselves and see if they can find the answers right now.
It would be hilarious if Cloud9 end up fighting the Knights again, and it's possible in a circle like this. I'm just trying to think of what's more likely for the Cloud9 roster is to move themselves closer up north to give space for the teams coming in from the south, or position themselves along that hilltop that's just to the east of El Pozo and try and actually establish control, because they're one of the teams that we've seen in this group, at least, that likes to play a little fast. They won't go full on send it in the early game. They're not going to omen this one up.
Right.
But they could be a team. If there's any team that I could see position themselves in a way to try and get kills on rotating teams, it would be Cloud9.
Yeah, Fearless Gaming, all kind of clumped up together next to the Marksman. Here we're following Rebellion, one of our new squads making it in to tournament. Fearless as well, new. They've had a couple of moments here. Los has popped off, but again, consistency is the big thing here, right? And even Los is like, what did you just hit there, Coast?
Morados are fickle.
They have their own mind sometimes.
They're sensitive. They're the little princesses. It's like a single cherry on a cake out of place, and they completely freak out and have a temper tantrum.
Nice looking cars, though.
Oh yeah, they're beautiful.
Where's the Golden Morado spawn?
Terrible dates.
Terrible dates. Let's see.
Venerated.
Rojas.
So this is a team that I feel like we got to talk about for all of 30 seconds in game number 1 of the day.
Yeah.
Which is surprising to me because they were one of these teams that I wasn't super familiar with coming into day number 1 of this group here, the first 5 games. And they made a name for themselves. They really stepped up in this group. They impressed me. They were consistent. They had some pop-up moments, but mostly they were just sluggers. They just continually, were where they needed to be, did what they needed to do. They, took some casualties, took some kills along the way, and just got it done. They just grinded. And they just need to keep doing that, and they're looking just fine. I mean, they're pretty much already secure in this top 8 right now. They just need to not do anything absolutely bizarre and hope that, the teams below them don't go buck wild. But at the same time, I love the fact that we're seeing this squad coming in and sort of putting their mark on the season, the first time around. This is, I'm pretty sure, their first season competing in the Mobile Open.
Yeah, as a full unit, we've seen individuals have individual plays, and I'm excited to see. Hey, look, I saw you last time in Mobile Open. I think you're a good player. Let's group up and see if we can do better together. And they have been able to. Unfortunately, there for Jinx. Jinx getting shot in the ankle, getting bit in the ankle, and the marksman get a much-needed point as they continue their march on up. But yeah, Venerated coming together. It's been great to watch, but I will say that in that first week, I did feel like a hint of luck here for Venerated. They when they were put in position to capitalize on points, they did, but they weren't a team that went out and made points for themselves. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Now we're seeing red reserve for Alfino, whose long-range shots surprisingly off this time, considering the shots we saw coming out from him last time around. Catching some wind of some of these rotations here, and this is oftentimes a game, one of these hilarious games. It's a combination of chicken and also cat and mouse, because you're kind of chasing your opponents. You want to keep an eye on where they are. You don't want to let them out of your sight, but then it's also like who pushes more first, and that's where the game of chicken sort of comes in.
It's a whole footsie game.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's all about positioning yourselves in the terrain, even if you're not in a place that's like center of the circle. The terrain will completely change priority positions, and then where other teams are can also oh god, that gave me a heart attack. Can also change priority positions.
Yeah, the running over the vehicle collision here much more forgiving.
Yes, and it freaked me out the first time too when I started. Well, it freaked me out the first time too because it's like, if you play enough PC PUBG, you're like, yeah, your teammates' vehicles can kill you, which is obviously not the case in PUBG Mobile. They don't do damage. So I was just like, oh, the first time it always gave me a heart attack. Not gonna lie, it took a while to unlearn that particular habit. I'm gonna be honest.
I mean, it's kind of good that you have to unlearn the habit of dodging cars, like not even in PUBG, just in life. Like you should probably keep that one there in the back of your lizard brain.
It's a good skill.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dodge a wrench, you can dodge a car.
Yeah.
I mean, like technically.
I feel like our chat's too young for dodgeball references, if I'm being honest.
Listen, they were too young for the meme that ESL Mobile tweeted out. They're too young for dodgeball. I think at this point we just got to start making jokes about like what Johnny Test, and then they'll get it. Or like Avatar, exactly.
Avatar.
That one I get. Yeah, rewatching that right now. Great stuff. Thanks, Netflix.
But even then, the chat will probably be like, those are my grandfather's TV shows. That's my grandfather's cartoon. Tar.
Big
Fickle
zoomer
chat.
energy. I know.
Never
I
can
know.
make you guys happy. Always big bullies. You don't know how hard Paul tries.
I really do, guys, because like trying to keep up to date with like pop culture, oof, that's like a big ask. There's esports to be had. I cast 3 different games a week, guys. I got stuff to do.
My question for the Zoomers in chat is, I understand it's not your fault that Vine died. Vine took a perfectly amazing thing and shot itself in the foot, but why'd we have to go and replace it with TikTok? Like, surely there are better options out there.
Uses of our time.
Yeah.
Give us your opinions, Twitch chat. We're curious as we slow play this mid game on Miramar and has this devolving into social media commerce, which actually I feel like is perfectly acceptable.
More action than what's happening in game right now.
Absolutely.
which is
Yeah,
on
it's great, but
purpose.
slower.
This is not a slight towards the teams. This is exactly how they want to play this out, and it is a perfectly valid way to play the game.
There we
This does
go.
give us a lot to talk about.
Oh, here we go. Oh no, I saw it. Ugh. It's because Echo's tag is different. Oh no. What?
Oh,
This
no.
is the most action we've seen all game. Them losing a
Yeah. Quick, lift it.
There's
No, we can't
immediately a
lift it.
trike. I would never have this luck. Never in a million years. I wouldn't see a vehicle the rest of the game. All right?
Yeah.
I would be on foot forever. Like, I would never again. I would see a single tire be on a burnt out Jeep or a Humvee, and that would be it. And I would cry all the way on foot as the blue chases me down like it's inexorable death. Anyway, back to this. No, I haven't got a chance to talk with them a ton. Twinkles. Twinkles has been one of these players who I was like, well, Twinkles comes in, and then he just shoots real good, D-Gon, and he was a lot of fun to watch last week.
Yeah. Twinkles, fan favorite, Donut. I think these are the two that have kind of led the way. Fears as well has had a couple of big plays. Haven't heard too much from Ruli yet. But Noel, I think we expect a little more. We've seen them now. This is their second or third playoffs that they qualified for the Mobile Open. And I wanted them to take that next step. They're close. They're close. They just haven't quite been able to just yet.
I just want to know, do you remember where they looted up, D-Gon? Because for coming in so late, having to basically run away from the blue, their loot, at least Twinkle's loot, the player that we were on, you could see most of his inventory, really wasn't that great. He had 10 bandages, 2 med kits. At least Nito here has 4 med kits and a good number of stims.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure where they ended up dropping from, just because I'm so focused on the on the Northwest for
On
PK.
all the action that's happening in the game so far, there have been a lot of distractions.
Yeah, I mean, it was PK. I was like, oh, PK, they got the circle. Everything's going to be great. And I was like, oh, wait, Execute's right next to them. They did sneak by him, though.
Yeah, let's use that as a quick pivot, because PK have taken the spot that I was thinking that Cloud9 might want to go into. But PK are the ones that have actually tried to take center control. They didn't want to just play easy on the edge. And I like that from them, because they're going proactive. They don't just want to try and play safe, because they have 2 games left and they are so far out of the top half of their lobby, much less the previous lobby. They're the ones that need to go active right now.
Yeah, they're the ones that need the points. They need the points, and sitting back and waiting for Cloud9 to rotate into you is not the way to go gather them. We could see Noel now trying to take some shots at rotating Prism, and this is what most of this first couple of zones are going to be. Trying to dodge out these teams, trying to take you down on a rotation. As Rebellion and Prism now just getting shot up on their rotation. Sendi's still alive. Will be able to use the wall to buy a little bit of time, but Rebellion now getting completely blown up by Leo. It looked like a nade. Cleared them all out, and I think that's Rebellion, one of our new teams, out first here on Miramar.
That's actually 2 games in a row for them. They're
Yeah.
first team out.
It's not good. We actually saw not only I forget the name of the player that was in the shack that got taken out early, but right after that
Jinx.
we were seeing, just for a couple of frames, another Rebellion player in a vehicle seemingly kind of confused and didn't know where to go. So it just seems that they weren't able to really be able to establish any sort of position, defensible, aggressive, whatever it is, in the circle.
Yeah, pretty tough start and stuff here for Rebellion. You know, 1 game left. It's Sandhawk for Rebellion. I mean, take a break, go grab yourself a drink, and figure out how you want to go ahead and go out in a blaze of glory, I think, if you're Rebellion. Glad that they were able to make it. They barely snuck on in as one of our final teams. But I think the gap for them is starting to show, and they'll have a lot of great learning lessons to build upon for next season.
And that's an important thing to note here, of course, to these players and these teams, is a lot of the teams who sort of came up in the community, who made a name for themselves, who made a mark in the Mobile Open, they didn't do it the first time around. It took them a few seasons to get here. So if you even made it to the playoffs, period, you know, with your first iteration of a roster, that is still something to be proud of. And you're still walking away with prize money and learning, playing against some of the best teams in North America. There's really not a lot of other opportunities to get that kind of experience. And that's what the Mobile Open is all about. The mantra of the program is where everybody can be somebody, giving you the opportunity to not only show off in front of a crowd of thousands, but also to learn from the best in NA. And you are playing truly against the best in NA in these groups.
Yeah, absolutely. So heart goes out to him, but we've got ourselves the rest of the lobby that we need to start figuring out, including who's going to be in that top half. And here's a bit of a fight here. Execute and Venerated. These are two of the top teams in the lobby, as Elise had the hero moments in the last game, but now from distance, doesn't know exactly where the shots are coming from, and Rojas has a very good idea where the shots are coming from. That is a tough spot to be in right now if you're Elise.
Yeah, I don't even know if Elise has a proper vehicle, but trying to jump away from those bullets, not going to work. It's going to be a down for Rojas and pretty immediate full kill completion as well.
Oh, really saw a play there with the mini. Hang on, no. I don't know if he knows. Accelerate. Potentially here to put pedal to the metal, and he's got teammates, but they're a little bit far off. Twinkle's acting as scout. Oh boy, here we go.
Yeah, that's scary.
I want to say they know something is up, just the way that Twinkles is moving his camera around. But Accelerate, you can tell they're waiting to close the trap. They don't want to go aggressive onto Null. They're waiting for Null to walk into them. They're proning on top of that ridge top for that very reason. They're not biting. There's no bait for them to actually go onto, and they have a compound here, so there's no reason to overextend. Even whether or not Null actually know that Accelerate are there, it's definitely a very smart play to not put yourself in danger too early on, because this is still only Circle 2.
We're seeing more Pittsburgh Knights tags in the kill. Okay. All right. Action happening over there as well. Rojas kills himself with a grenade. Good times.
I mean, this is what we wanted to see. But Pittsburgh Knights now, we saw him on the kill feed for good. Now it's for evil, as Jagger is the only one left alive, and they have 0 kills. G3 going to fall here in just a second. BKS surrounding him, and they'll finish him off.
And this is really good for BKS as well. Jagger's out. They probably should just let Jagger run away. Look at this circle shift. They could easily swing over to the compounds immediately west of El Pozo. They're sort of, I don't know what they're called in PUBG Mobile, but in PC we like to call them God buildings. They're sort of just like rectangular full cement compounds.
Mm-hmm.
It'll give them really good safety and control of this northwestern area while everyone else comes in from the east as well as the south. We also might start to see more and more teams have to go to El Pozo.
Well, BKS, I asked if they're going to be consistent. Would they be able to continue that same momentum that they had? Answer so far, resounding yes. They take down PK down to just one member, pick up multiple points. As Leo still trying to figure out how to drive, won't be able to get himself off the tree. 5 kills so far for Hype. They're maintaining their top form as well.
That's actually really good.
That's super solid considering we've only had one actual full squad wipe so far in this lobby. They've been involved in picking off, doing quite a lot of damage. Ralphino, Asazuki, uncharacteristic misses here from the Accelerate squad. Again, another one of our ESL Mobile Open veterans in this roster. All looking pretty darn solid, and they are very healthily looted right now. They are going to be able to take some fights, and they're going to need to do that and continue to look solid here in group number 2.
Uneven now. We haven't talked about Cloud9 too much. You know they were going to pop up at some point here. So 42 players alive. That means there's 38 points for the Cloud9 boys to pick up in the lobby. Man,
I like how that math works. It's everybody else's. There are points, and there are points we haven't gotten yet. One way to look at it.
That is a Cloud9 way to look at things.
Jagger in the kill feed. Last PK player actually comes across and needs a kill for himself. So good that the Knights are staying alive.
Parzival?
Oh.
Don't know where it was at. We found someone though. But now he's got to push forward and come into El Pozo from the north. And coming down from the high ground like this, if anyone is in El Pozo, I don't think there is, but if anyone's on that northern edge of El Pozo, wouldn't be hard to spot out Jagger coming down. But here is C9 actually trying to give it to Execute, who...
Oh.
Southwest of El Pozo.
The only team that was north of El Pozo, sorry, Cameron, was BKS. So I think Pittsburgh Knight or Jagger knows that, so he's going down at an angle that BKS isn't at already.
You can never be 100% sure that no one has snuck into the city, though.
Sure.
But I do like this positioning by Cloud9 holding the south edge of the city, and Perk especially just using that ridge to hide behind, scout ahead, spot out anyone that he can. Not just execute, but also nullify to his southeast. BKS slowly. So hype. This is the position that I was talking about that BKS might want to go and take, but I don't know why it took BKS that long to get down here.
They've got to rotate around themselves, and Coops is just caught out there. Leon did that damage, so they did not get out unscathed. Going to just continually decrease the likelihood they're going to have a repeat from game number 1. That was a really solid performance from them. As Dark and the crew just got to rotate all the way around the western edge. We're going to see where this next circle is now. Dead center, a lot of mountains, a lot of cliffs. And that one road winding down the middle. Cover is going to be completely natural on this one. How they play around these ridges is going to be crucial. This is a really cool looking late game circle.
Yeah, again, a little bit different than what we're used to seeing here on Miramar, where I feel like there's a lot more playable area in this spot other than just outside on the edges. A lot of the time, the teams have to hang out on the edges until one of the circle forces everybody in. This doesn't feel like the case here. I feel like everyone might find some space in the middle where you feel comfortable to do exactly what Ruli's doing right now. Just kind of take some peeks, land some shots here for Noel against Fearless Gaming.
That does mean, however, that if you're a team in the middle, you really need to be able to complete your kills if it's a team aggressing onto you. Because if you're on the edge, one of the benefits is that you know where there is no team right behind you. It limits the radius that you really need to worry about, the angle that you need to pay attention to. But if you're dead center, that's 360s around you that they could be a threat. So it's a good place where you can pick up kills from, because you can see everyone, but that also means that everyone can see you.
The old trade-off. Well, I like it if I'm the one that gets to dictate if people can see me or not, right? So,
yes.
You know, like, it's not like, hey, look, when they are ready, I'll be ready. It's no, when I'm ready, then hopefully they're not ready.
Wait, where is Jagger?
Jagger is north of El Pozo.
Okay, so he's north, stayed in the blue.
He stayed in the blue. He has 31 bandages and 6 first aids. That's awesome.
Well, all right.
He knows his place. He knows what he's doing.
Here goes. You can see put pressure onto the Venerated. So not too far off. Not just what they're looking at, but there was another team real close by. It seems okay, kind of living in harmony with them, but how long is that peace going to last?
Probably not for long, because they're all fighting over very valuable real estate here. Oh my goodness, we have 3. Look at the minimap. 3 teams with C9 just on the outskirts. Elise, though, prone in that one building. Oh boy, it's just very, very quiet.
So, funny to note, you just saw Uneven in the death feed. He just got finished off, I think, by JCR. He went off by his lonesome, way away from the rest of his team to try and get the crate. He ends up getting finished off. We pull up the circle here soon. We should be able to see Jagger has gotten himself inside the zone. And guess which team he's right next to. You can see it right there on the minimap. I don't know. I don't know. And they know. They heard the buggy. Poor Jagger. Pirate just on this cliff. This is going to be so nearly impossible for him to get out. Unless he uses the buggy to drive away. And even then, that's so risky.
He'd have to go all the way back right because he can't make it up this cliff to his left.
Oh no! Oh no! Pyra's gonna throw nades down through the hole in the building. Jagger knows.
Oh my goodness!
Gosh. This is awful. This is torture for Pittsburgh Knights.
Where
Ooh, at least
does he
the
even
kill feed,
send
though.
it to anyway?
I don't.
He can't go left. He's got to go all the way back around right. The cliff is there. Finally, Elise gets pick
Yeah.
up the kill feed though after taking or downing 2 members of Hype. But yeah, because I think it's like he's got to go too far around the blue. Maybe if he full stims, he can make it around. But then he's
So
I don't know.
if he goes from what we saw from Pyra, if he goes right, there's a small there's a roadway, and then there's
Yeah.
a small kind of like dirt roadway that he could take up into the cliffs
Yes.
where everyone is.
Into Cloud9.
But he'll have to do it on foot. Yeah, and he'll run into Cloud9. He'll also run into the marksman. So decision time here for for Jagger. As the continual ticky-tacky shooting across the map here. Nito landing his shots, and he'll run back on over and pick up his teammate Simple, who got knocked by Hype. Or will he? Maybe the call to back on off is there. Yeah, Rad peeking his head over the edge and starting to get aggressive, and Venerated getting one of their first tests here on Miramar.
JCR still in this with all 4 members. Crucial at this point now. But this is the action we have been waiting for group number 2. You can see the kill feed continuing to light up. The rotations are coming in now as the next circle is popping. You've got to get on in. And actually, this is a really interesting spot here for JCR. They do have a path sort of through the mountains. They've got this compound to work with. So while they may not necessarily have the high ground, they still have got a decent amount of cover to play with. And even look at this. Oh, Dean being a great teammate, lining up smoke so his teammate can rotate on in as well. Really nice to
That was
see.
an interesting
Oh!
jump by Nito here, but
Yeah.
now they know he's arrived. What are JCR going to do to return fire?
Boy.
Yeah, Nito's going to have to figure this one out. This is uncomfortable. Uncomfortable.
They're just shuffling around. Did they hear the footsteps?
He's
Shoving-
still there. They just
Shoving the door in your teammate's face. That's fine.
Yeah, it's great team building. Use that for my next team meeting with you, Paul.
They don't know that he's there. He's still hiding in the corner. Right up here on the north side, Cloud9 trying to deal heavy damage onto Marksman right now. And Marksman really seem out of it. This circle shift heavily into Cloud9 as well as Hype's favor on the west side. It's such a hard shift.
It is a hard shift. Cloud9 still holding down the marksman, but because they're focused on that, that's allowed Jagger a way on in. You can see it right there on the mini map. Here comes Jagger, slow and steady, number 11. He's letting Pyra run away, and he's going exactly when Pyra's shooting shots. That is so smart here by Jagger. As Perkasos gets knocked here, and Hype are the ones trading back and forth. Pyra getting an answer back. These two teams going head-to-head here. Venerated and Noel now going head-to-head as well. And oh no, it's the marksman that killed Jagger from distance. Oh gosh, the kill fantastic.
Our narrative!
I'm trying to build storylines.
Yep, well, the marksmen don't want any of those storylines. 8th place here for Pittsburgh Knights. So better than what it looked like, but not nearly enough.
Yeah.
I think they were sitting on 30 points.
That Nito actually gets out from that compound and is now holding off the exit of JCR.
What an angle he's holding here as Jakub still trying to hold on to dear life. Nito gatekeeping Remix. Circle moving on in, and Nito is safe. Dean already knocked. So Remix and Magic have to pull out some magic. Nito gets the kill, but it's Noel coming from behind. They pick up the points, and they know they were shooting at somebody. Nito gets taken down.
Oh. Nito held that so perfectly as well. I think his teammate, Jakub, just above him, was able to make the call of when the push happened from JCR, so he could peek out at perfect time to deal at least enough damage for him to go to the blue. But then, well, good heads-up play by Noel to push around that corner, partly because Cloud9 kept peppering them as well, but now they picked up even more points. Magic is still alive in the blue for JCR, so they could still climb up placements a few. I mean, he's so far out, though. Yeah, there he goes.
Yeah. So JCR get themselves a solid third place finish. Now Nolan Hype don't need the points, but they have the numbers advantage. Rulian Donut, fan favorite Donut, needs to show up big here. 2v3 Rad, he is so good. Holding this upper angle. I don't know if they know where these nades are coming from. Now Rad is giving away his position. The tricky bounce, I think, was kind of detrimental there for Rad's nade. Now Ruli has himself away on up on the rock. You can see him kind of get a little bit more height now against Hype. As nade's going a little bit wide here. Circle not going to be forcing any movement quite yet, but it doesn't look like they're ready. Oh, Ruli almost burned himself with the molly. A molly accident. Survival gets Donut, so it's all left to Ruli. And Ruli gets caught out. Finally, the high ground pays off, and it's a win here for Hype. Leon coming on in, 14 kills for Hype.
14.
Big round.
And
That is solid.
throughout all of that, Cloud9 actually go out in 7th with only 3 or 4 kills. So they just really weren't able to use their high ground advantage at all. I think maybe the pressure of having to eventually leave the high ground forced them to overpeak and just get torn apart by multiple squads down to the south. I didn't see exactly how that happened, but when we were on them the last time, it looked like they had at least a little bit of a ridge to hide behind.
Yeah. It was Marksman, it was Knoll, it was Hype. I think there were 3 teams that they were shooting at him. Plus, they knew that there was at least someone with a buggy behind him in the form of Pittsburgh Knights, who, all things said and done for Cloud9 finishing 7th, they still finished in front of PK in 8th.
That's all that matters, really.
I mean, look, it's the little victories, guys. It's the little victories. Let's take a look back at that game with our Xperia highlights. Degon, let's get into it. That game had a little bit of a slow burn, but when the action did get going, oh my goodness, It took off like a rocket.
Yeah, a bit of a slow burn, but BKS and Hype really kicked things off. Unfortunately for Prism and Rebellion, they were caught in the rotations, and a lot of the time, that's kind of the mark of these two teams. They're the ones getting caught when it seems like they just shouldn't be, right? They don't get themselves a fair team fight.
Oh, so this was the beginning of that sort of Nido creep to start deal heavy damage to JCR.
Yeah.
See why they're on the back foot coming into the circle like that.